Have you recently written and failed an examination, a professional examination such as the NCLEX? Then this video is for you. And you feel like your world has come crashing down. Come closer, let's have a heart-to-heart conversation. My name is Uche Ago, and I've just been dropped in my spirit to make a video to encourage someone like you watching this video on what to do to cope after failing an examination, and how to pick up yourself, or how to pick up the pieces into a whole and move on again. Hi everyone. This is just going to be a heart-to-heart conversation. I've arrived a little bit early to pick my children from school, and I'm here thinking within myself, how can I add value to someone or somewhere? And I was thinking, why not talk about how to move on after failing an exam, or how to move on or cope after a failure of an exam, such as a professional exam such as NCLEX. I must tell you, I've been in your shoes before, and truly it is not easy. So for me, I literally wrote the NCLEX twice, and the first time when I failed this exam, I kept crying. I couldn't function properly because I felt like I worked so hard. I woke up to read, I did extra things, so why would I have failed the exam? If you are currently facing this situation and you're thinking about how to move on, come on, don't give up. Don't give up. You've tried your best and you probably did not get the required score you need to pass that particular exam, or to pass your NCLEX. Pick up your broken pieces. When I found out that I failed the NCLEX, I didn't find much information other than the bits and pieces. I kept crying. In fact, that was on a Friday, and then I couldn't wait for Sunday to come because I just wanted to go somewhere to pour out my heart. I went to church that day, and my pastor was basically talking about dealing with failure. I didn't tell him anything, and as he was preaching, I felt like he was talking to me, or I believe God would have dropped that in his heart for that moment. And in the place of prayer, I found part of the healing that I didn't know that I would receive on that day. Cry it all out. It's okay to cry. It's okay for you to move on. Talk to someone that you feel you trust and express how you feel after you failed this exam. It helps you recover in a way. Talking about things help you recover in a way. You may not be able to talk about it immediately, trust me. I wasn't able to tell anyone what I was going through because I was still going through the phases and the grieves of that failure. If that is what you're going through right now, that is okay, and that is why I'm making this video, to tell you how to deal with or cope after a failure, because there are different things for you to cope. The first phase is for you to cry about it, talk about it, whatever you want to do, but do not hurt yourself. Now, when you feel a little bit better, because the stages of grief starts with denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. If you get to the point of accepting that you failed, pick up yourself again. Go again. Think about your why. Why did you even start preparing for the NCLEX in the first place? Think about your future. Think about where you would be when you've passed that exam. It doesn't necessarily have to be NCLEX. Whatever exam or professional exam you feel you failed. So today I'm talking to you as someone who has failed an exam before. I passed my NCLEX at my second attempt because I did the following things I'm going to say in this video. Now, when you've come to the stage of acceptance, in the stages of grief, pick up your bits and pieces and start all over again. Now, email your board or call your board and ask them to send you your test reports. Find out the areas where you have done well and the areas where you have done poorly. One of the things that helped me heal after an exam is to prepare for that exam like I am preparing for the exam for the first time. Now, if I used question bank A and there's another question bank B that I can try, I will go for the question bank B, because then it helps me believe, yes, I'm trying out this exam again for the first time, and it helps me not feel like, what have I not done at all that I'm doing right now? Okay, it might take you a little bit long in your recovery process, but pick up yourself again and remember your why. Okay, remember your why. If you're someone who studies using a jotter to write things down, get a new jotter. I will write in my jotter new beginning. Once I've seen the test report form from my board of nursing, I want to do something differently, especially working on my weaknesses rather than improving just the strengths. You're not letting go of the strengths, but you're working on your weaknesses. You're strengthening your weaknesses while also not neglecting your strengths. You cannot say you failed an exam because you're not smart enough or that your cognitive ability is degrading. Reflect on what happened before your exam. Reflect on what happened during your exam. Did you experience some kind of headache, lack of sleep, family crises? Did you fail because you feel like you were distracted? Did you feel severe anxiety at the time? Were you even cold at the test center? Was there anything that caused you a bit of discomfort, or you didn't trust your answers well enough and you kept changing them? Before you truly can move on, you need to accept that something has gone wrong. Embrace that weakness and strengthen yourself. Now re-strategize. Just try and move on. There is only one way to go, and that is forward. In the journey of NCLEX, there is no giving up. There is no giving up. There is no giving up. Think about what will work for you. Ask yourself, are you ready to retake this exam? Is this really what you want? How will my future be if I have passed this exam? How am I going to improve my test-taking strategies? Find out what areas you are weak. Find out what areas you are strong. When you decide not to retake the exam just immediately, that is okay. In the moment of your waiting, you can use it to start planning again, preparing again, working things out again, and keep praying, and things will definitely take a huge turnaround and will change. Okay, here are a few things that you can do to pass the NCLEX RN if you failed on your first or second attempt. Acknowledge the facts that you were unsuccessful. Find out the retake policy for the State Board of Nursing with which you are applying for. Consider talking to someone who has passed the NCLEX or who has been in your shoes before and is now successful. It can be a nursing instructor, it can be a tutor, it can be someone who teaches NCLEX. For me, I did email ACHA and send them my test report form. They evaluated it, got back to me, and I picked myself again. Now, familiarize yourself with the NCLEX content area. Start all over again. Have a book. Start writing again. Create your study plan. Create a detailed study plan after reviewing your NCLEX content guide and your candidate performance. Use it to create a study schedule that addresses the area where you need help. Unless it is unavoidable, don't stray away from your plan. Like I said, having too many distractions and having too many study materials can distract you from that track or from that study material. Join a study group of peers who are scheduled to test. I had NCLEX study groups. They were encouraging for me. Having a study group helps you stay in the space of people who are preparing for the same thing with which you are preparing for. You might find it helpful to study with others as you prepare to retest. There may be a subject that you don't even understand, and one of the study partners there might be able to help you see more clearly on how to go about it. Now, if you're using the Saunders textbook, take it system by system. Once you've completed a particular system, answer NCLEX practice test based on that system. It can be cardiovascular, it can be respiratory. If it's for the adult health conditions or for the pediatrics, take practice text questions. If it's for the psychiatry or the mental health, take practice text questions on that days. Or even if it is for ops and maternity or ops and gynae questions, take practice test questions. Even if it is for infection control, take practice test questions after you studied it. If you have done delegation and prioritization, take the study test questions after you've done it. This is even one of the question types that you cannot even run away from, the delegation and prioritization. I used the delegation and prioritization test book and I finished all the practice test questions there. In fact, I did it every day. I picked a chapter every day and I did it just so that I familiarize myself with how to go about delegating and prioritizing when I meet test questions. Now, learn how to break these NCLEX questions down. How can you break these NCLEX questions down? You have to read your questions at least 2 or 3 times. Do not think about the question too much. Read about it. Do not add any extra thing that was not even in the question in the first place. Rearrange the answer into a true or false format as you read it to see if you can find out the correct answer. Now, if you master the act of dissecting the parts of a question and plug answer options into your question, you can improve your chances of successfully passing the NCLEX in your next test. Also, while studying through practice test questions, once you've done the questions, read the rationales for all the answer options that you practice. It is not enough for you to answer your question and know you just got it wrong and just leave it there. You need to understand why your answer was right. If this video encouraged you, if this video elevated your mood, please subscribe to my channel. Please like and comment. I would love to hear from you. Have a lovely time.